It turns out payment processors such as PayPal is now eliminating support for the platform Steam because of censorship.
Alright me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and also, I've started uploading some content onto Rumble as well, so make sure you look for Dr. Disaster over there. And don't forget to follow me on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster1. But anyhow, let's have a gander at Valve and how they let us know that yes, this latest action is indeed PayPal debanking them in most countries. It is noteworthy that of the 6 currencies that are still supported by PayPal, US dollars is one of them. I suspect this is at least partially because of the executive order that was signed the other day by President Trump, preventing US citizens and companies from being debanked. Whether you love the guy or hate the guy, the thing is, this is likely the best protection mustered up against these censorious payment processors, most likely the best protection in the world, and I imagine it is having at least something of a shielding effect in the Western world at large.
Even though not much, but let's take every win we can get. Although we cannot take our eyes on payment processor or either Collective Shout or even the UK government and their UK online safety app, because I'm certain some of you are aware that now the protests are heating up. Keir Starmer is trying to, put his head in the sand, spin the narrative, but we all know he is done. Kaput. Finito.
The list of currencies still supported by PayPal on Steam are the US dollars, Canadian dollars, Australian dollars, Japanese yen, British pounds, and euros. You'll note that all of these countries are considered Western countries with the exception of Japan, and even they are closely linked trading partners with the West. But anyhow, this article here from Rock, Paper, Shotgun explains that Valve understands now that they have been essentially debanked by PayPal due to the content that they host. This article leads off with an update which says Valve have confirmed to Rock, Paper, Shotgun that this withdrawal of support for Steam transactions by one of PayPal's acquiring banks is regarding content on Steam related to what we've previously commented on surrounding Mastercard. In this case, one of PayPal's acquiring banks decided to stop processing any Steam transactions, which cut off PayPal on Steam for a number of currencies, a Valve spokesperson added. The crazy thing about this, as we read this story, keep in mind that Valve already bent the knee to Mastercard's demands and largely removed NSFW content from their platform. It really begs the question, what other games are they going to be after now? Are they looking to go after GTA and games like that next? Are they not going to support Steam until they get rid of games like that? We have been saying all along that the problem with all of this happening, despite the fact that most of us, myself included, don't even play these NSFW games, but the problem is that we believe that the slippery slope is coming and that next these payment processors will be after games that have, say, too much violence, or games like Stellar Blade, which they will say are supposedly disrespectful to women because they show too much skin. Anyway.
Honestly, I think this is a stupid move. Stupid PayPal. Honestly, I think they're getting desperate. These payment processors who are in cahoots with Collective Shout and other entities who advocate for censorship, they're getting desperate. They knew everyone is now uniting. The whole world is now united than ever. Whatever they do, gamers, non-gamers, they're all going to hound them. No matter what post they put, no matter what response they give, gamers and non-gamers, aka normies, will not let that slide.
Of the article though, the original part of the article, if you've tried to pay for something on Steam via PayPal over the past month, only to be told you can't, Valve have now offered an explanation as to why, pointing to a bank that previously handled PayPal transactions in certain currencies as having suddenly terminated its support. Folks in affected countries first noticed notifications informing them PayPal was, currently unavailable in their part of the world around a month ago. There's been a steady stream of Reddit posts from folks who've gotten to checkout and been told this since then. While those examples didn't see Valve offer any further explanation of what was up, a player has now been directed to one with the same message having been added to Steam's support page for purchasing issues. In early July 2025, PayPal notified Valve that their acquiring bank for payment transactions in certain currencies was immediately terminating the processing of any transactions related to Steam. Valve wrote, "This affects Steam purchases using PayPal in currencies other than euros, Canadian dollars, Great Britain pounds, Japanese yen, Australian dollars, and US dollars. Hence, folks in nations that don't use euros, pounds, yen, or dollars of the Canadian, American, Australian variety being unable to buy Steam's wares via PayPal."
So, only euro, Canadian dollars, British pounds, Japanese yen, Australian dollars, and US dollars. Hence, the folks in nation who don't use euros, pounds, yen, or dollars of the Canadian, American, and Australian variety being unable to buy Steam's wares via PayPal. Those are they're offering as an option for these currency in the future, but the timeline is uncertain. Let's hope so. Yeah, they're getting desperate because they knew the executive order, it will not affect Collective Shout, but it is making payment processors' job way harder. And Collective Shout as well, because they're not getting away with it.
Wares via PayPal. But do you know what platform that isn't a problem on, where they don't have to have a message like that? Do you know which platform you can go on and there's nobody debanking them at all? Roblox, of course, despite the fact, as I said earlier, that the state of Louisiana is now after their asses. The Attorney General in Louisiana wrote, "Today I'm suing Roblox, the #1 gaming site for children and teens, and a breeding ground for sex predators. Due to Roblox's lack of safety protocols, it endangers the safety of the children of Louisiana. Roblox is overrun with harmful content and child predators because it prioritizes user growth, revenue, and profits over child safety. Every parent should be aware of the clear and present danger, and you know what? Good for this lady. Somebody is doing something. She's doing God's work as far as I'm concerned, but look at the uneven application of this debanking. Steam bent the knee to Mastercard and all of their demands, and yet they still got partially debanked. Meanwhile, Roblox is apparently having some serious problems with this child predator thing going on, but these payment processors just don't give a shit. I've said it before and I will say it again. This move to affect Steam was clearly not to protect kids, it was to attack you. If you're a gamer, then they hate you. You're too non-compliant. You share memes that they don't like. You may not vote how they want. They really hate you.
Shocking to see. Unbelievable. You know, sooner or later, these payment processors are going to find out harsh reality that they make one wrong move, people with enough resources, they can bury them. May not happen now, it may not happen tomorrow, but it will happen soon. Because right now, look, I'm adding it in because it may not be relevant to this situation, but I'm gonna add it in. Right now, there's massive protests in Great Britain. Keir Starmer is desperately trying to, spin the situation, control the narrative, the sort. But every time there's a question on topics such as illegal immigration, he froze. That is his soft underbelly, or in this case, weakness. And sooner or later, it's going to come to a point where Collective Shout will be dismantled. Payment processors such as Visa, Mastercard, and PayPal, they're going to have to force to listen to their consumers, whether they like it or not. These laws are to be reviewed. Yes, reviewed, and never ever censor free speech. Yes, regardless, many people who don't play games or gaming, video games in general, is the last bastion of defense for free speech and entertainment. If that gone, then free speech is no more, 100%.
Well done, Griffin. Now we got this airfield secured, we can get a foothold on this island and start pushing the Japanese back. We're through retreating, lad. America's back in this war.
Leave a like and subscribe if you want gaming news, gaming theories, or you just want to see me play games. Visit my first, third, and fourth channel up here or link in the description.